Welcome to Blueprint Radio. I'm your host, Martin Williams. Here we help you create a blueprint for your life. So let's build. And welcome to Blueprint Radio. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You may do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. All the links to the podcast can be found at guidedexpressions.com/podcast with an S, or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. So today's topic is you decide. Right? Making a decision is one of the most important functions that we have as human beings. And I read that in The Power of Decision. I started a series on it, and I decided that going forward, I'm just going to pull little pieces out of it. But it's an excellent book. You should read it. And that is where I'm getting some of this stuff. And I really believe that a lot of people are struggling because they just don't want to make a decision, or they don't understand the importance of making the decision. Excuse me. I have a section in my course called, the course is the Blueprint, and it's on mindset. Right? The first part of the Blueprint is mindset. So in the Blueprint, you have 4 sections. You have mindset, vision, strategy and planning, and execution. Right. And then the first portion of mindset, I have a section called You Are the Mastermind, You Decide. Right. You can't outsource decision making and expect to be fulfilled in life. It won't work. And it's easy to judge people or be envious of people for what they have and what they've done, but they're not smarter than you and they're not better than you. They simply just made one decision, and then they made another decision, and they made a series of decisions and ended up where they are now. Now, it's easy to get overwhelmed with the daily push of life. When you start making decisions, you can start cutting through the noise and cutting through all the things that have stopped you, all the excuses, all the stories that you believed and have been holding you and your gifts back for far too long. The literal meaning of decision is to cut through the noise. You cut through the noise. You have to decide to make your business profitable. You have to decide to achieve better health. You have to decide to get out of debt. You have to decide to love and receive love. These things don't happen automatically, but they happen when you decide and stick to the decision. Now, I used to be the type of person who never stuck to anything. Making a decision was one of the hardest things for me to do because, you have all these options. You can, let's say it's something as simple as going out to eat. You can go to McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, and like a host of local restaurants that may be around where you live. I'm just naming national restaurants, right? But you have all these options. So where do I eat? Like, what should I do? And so if you can get tied up with making a decision such as that, when it comes to real life decisions, it can be really, really difficult for you to decide what's right for you. But it doesn't excuse you from making a decision regardless, right? So I used to be that type of person that never made a decision, never stuck to anything. And it cost me. It cost me money. It cost me relationships. It cost me time, right? But what you have to understand is, and what I had to understand, is that we are here to do something that's never been done before. God wants to do things through you that hasn't been done before and hasn't been done at the level that you can do it. Like we've had airplanes for hundreds of years, right? But we don't have airplanes. We haven't had airplanes that fly at the level that they fly at now. And now they're creating something that will get you from, I think it's from New York to Australia in, I don't even want to, I think it was like 8 hours or something like that. It's just something unreal, like an unreal amount of time. That never existed before, but it took someone making a decision to say, I'm going to create an airplane that travels twice as fast as the airplanes do now. I'm going to create something. I'm going to create a product that doesn't exist to solve a problem that hasn't been solved yet. So you might think that you're stuck, but you aren't. You need to make a decision about the thing that's been keeping you up at night, the thing that's been nagging you, the thing that has been pushing you for a long time. You got to make a decision to do something about it. And you got to make a decision today. Because when you make a decision, you set in motion the necessary circumstances and connections and ideas and insights to allow the thing that you decided to happen. All the ideas that you need, all the wisdom that you need, the people you need, start making themselves available to you to use if you choose to go forward. All those things become available to you. Now, there's two things that every person needs to decide. They need to decide who they are, and they need to decide what they want. You have to decide that, am I going to be the same unreliable, all over the place person who underachieves and doesn't have anything that he wants and is always complaining and sulking? Or am I going to be the best version of myself? Am I going to max out my life in every area of my life? That's a decision. Your mother and father did not decide who you are now. They gave you a life. They gave you a name. They gave you an upbringing. They gave you protection and all of these things, but they don't decide who you are. You decide that. Who you are determines what you have. I decide what I have, not the economy, not the doctor, not the government. No outside entity, no group of people can overrule me when I decide. But that's the key. You have to decide. I have to decide. I have to decide those things. I have to decide that I'm going to have what it is that I want, that I'm going to live the way that I want and the way that I want my family to live, right? But too many people don't decide. They live by default. And then they're unhappy that the entities that I just said decided their lives for them. There's a version of you that has everything that you could possibly want in life, but you have to decide to become that person and then remain that person. Okay? You can have the life you want. I don't care what age you are. I don't care how many things you've done. I don't care how many mistakes you've made. You can have the life you want if you decide. You're the mastermind. You decide. So thank you so much for tuning into the Blueprint Radio podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And check out my course. The Blueprint course is available for pre-order. That course should finally be ready by the end of the year. I'm really excited to get it into your hands. I think it's going to change your life the way that it's changed mine. And I can't wait for you to be able to start working in it and start doing what it is talking about. So again, thank you for listening. My name is Martin Williams, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to Blueprint Radio. For more information on Martin Williams coaching and products, please go to guidedexpressions.com or visit me on Facebook as well as Instagram.